Here I am at the westernmost end of East Pea Ridge Road. Today I'm going to demonstrate some platooning, a subject that I've talked about in some previous videos. Platooning is the effect produced by traffic signals on traffic flows. It causes cars to be bunched up into small groups with very, very long gaps between them. This traffic signal has a particularly long cycle time. It controls 3 roads and 2 left turn lanes and takes a long time to go through a complete cycle. As such, it produces very long gaps between bunches of traffic that flow down US Route 60. And I'm going to take advantage of that to ride home a different way from the route that I took to the bank. This will require me to ride eastbound on US 60 for about a half a mile until I arrive at the Peyton Street intersection. Here's my bank's ATM machine. Having completed my banking, I'm sitting here waiting for the traffic signal to turn red and for the last cars to pass by me, and after that I'm going to enter US Route 60 and head down the hill towards the Peyton Street intersection. Looking behind me in my rear view mirrors, I see absolutely no traffic. There are no cars behind me at all. At the Davis Creek intersection, there's a few cars waiting to get onto US Route 60 and take advantage of the gap that platooning has created, and there they go. As I continue down Route 60, there's still not a single car behind me. Okay, here we are at the Peyton Street intersection where I turn right to head towards downtown Barboursville. So I think I've been able to clearly demonstrate how you can use platooning to safely ride down an otherwise busy highway. I've now got about a 10-minute ride to the easternmost end of East Pea Ridge Road, and I invite you to come along with me, during which time I'm going to try and answer a bunch of questions that have been posed to me by viewers of these videos. Peyton Street is a very pleasurable street to ride on because it's been recently paved and it's super smooth. It's also quite a pretty ride. The first is about my bike. Yes, it's an electric bike. It's a Rad Mission electric bike by Rad Power Bikes in Seattle, Washington. The question that always comes up is, do I actually pedal this bike or do I just use it like an electric motor scooter? Well, the answer is I pedal it. I use the pedal assist feature. When I was in my 20s, I used to, and lived in the Washington, D.C. area, I used to regularly commute on a 10-speed bicycle to and from work. It was a 30-mile round trip. And as a fit 20-year-old, I had no problems doing that. Now that I'm a senior citizen, I need a little assistance to be able to get around long distances on a bicycle. And since I use my bicycle a lot, I put a good 2,000 miles a year on my bike. I use it to replace a lot of automobile trips. I use the assistance of the electric motor to get around, even in my advanced years. Studies have shown that people who ride electric bikes with pedal assist, and not just using a throttle, actually get as much exercise as people who ride regular bicycles. It's just that they end up riding longer, and usually they ride more. And that's been the experience of my wife and I. My wife also has a Rad Mission bike. I have the high step bike, which is a large frame bike, which fits my 6'2" height very well. She has a mid-step version of the Rad Mission bike, and it fits her slightly over 5 foot tall frame very well. The next question is camera gear. In particular, where do I have the camera that's showing my ride? Someone asked me if it was on my helmet, and if so, how I managed to keep looking straight ahead all the time. Well, in fact, my camera is actually mounted on a chest harness, which is made by GoPro. The camera itself is not a GoPro camera. It's actually a similar camera. It's a camera made by a company called DJI, and it's called the Osmo Action. And in many ways, it's almost identical to the latest GoPro model, except it costs about half the price. It's an action camera. It can take a beating. It's waterproof, and it's great for recording things like bicycle rides. In addition, I have a higher-end video camera, a Sony ZV-1 that I've used in videos like cycling to the museum. The shot of me in front of the museum and the shots taken inside the museum were done with that camera rig. Okay, although Peyton Street doesn't really have all that much traffic, I'm going to go ahead and get off at here on Adams and go side streets for the rest of the way, because it does have the occasional car on it, and my philosophy is always to avoid traffic whenever possible. At the end of Adams Road, we turn left onto Kaufman Street. Which will follow until we come to a stop sign. The next question I usually get is, how fast do you ride that bike? The electric motor itself actually cuts out at 20 miles an hour, so if I'm going any faster than 20, it's all on me, or it's all with the help of gravity because I'm going downhill. So although sometimes in these videos it looks like I'm flying at 60 miles an hour, it's really more of a camera effect, I believe, than anything else. I'm not going all that fast. Oftentimes you'll be able to look down at the bike computer that I have on the handlebars and glance at my speed, and you usually find out that that's the speed that I am going, between 16, 17, maybe 18 miles an hour. Although going down that big hill on US Route 60, I actually noticed that I hit 35 miles an hour, but again, that was all gravity. At the stop sign, we'll turn left onto McClung Avenue. Okay, the last question for this video. How far can we ride our bikes before we have to recharge the batteries? Well, that's kind of dependent upon terrain and wind and a whole bunch of other conditions, but in general, the range of the bikes is around 40 miles. Maybe under ideal circumstances, we could ride them 50 miles. The longest rides we've made since we've had these bikes has been 25-mile round trips. That's the distance between our house and Central City Cafe, where we love to go for lunch on weekends. So the round trip there is 25 miles, although we do have a couple of 30-plus mile trips in planning. At the end of McClung, we turn right onto Water Street. At the traffic light, we come to the intersection of Main Street to the right and Farmdale Road to the left, and we'll turn left on Farmdale Road. Ahead lies the intersection with US Route 60 again, and right across Route 60 we have the very start of East Pea Ridge Road again. This is the easternmost end of East Pea Ridge Road, and it will be the end of our journey. I hope you've enjoyed the ride, and remember, whether you have an electric bike or a regular bike, ride your bike as much as you can.